If you are in your 20s right now, listen carefully. You are not poor because you are 20. You are poor because you have not yet built the skills, knowledge, discipline, and leverage required to create money. And that is actually good news, because everything I just mentioned can be changed. But there is one thing you cannot get back: time. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose a business and build another one. You can fail at one career and start a new career. But you cannot become 20 again. And that is why your 20s are so important. Most people waste this decade. They scroll, they party, they complain, they compare themselves to strangers online. They wait for motivation. They wait for the right opportunity. They wait until they feel ready. Then suddenly, 5 years are gone. 10 years are gone. And they are still standing in exactly the same place. So this video is not about getting rich overnight. It is not about gambling. It is not about some secret investment. And it is definitely not about pretending that becoming wealthy is easy. This video is about building the mindset, skills, and behavior that can completely change your financial life while you are still young. If you understand these principles early enough, your 20s can become the decade that changes everything. I have seen people start from very ordinary circumstances: factory workers, people earning just enough to pay basic bills, people who had families to support, people with no special connections, no rich parents, no giant amount of capital, and no perfect education. And I have also seen some of those people completely change their lives after learning how online business, content, YouTube, and modern technology work. That matters because it proves something important. Your starting point matters. But it does not have to become your final destination. I have seen people earning a normal monthly salary suddenly discover that someone else could make in one day what they used to make in weeks. That kind of moment changes your brain, because suddenly you understand that the world is much bigger than the economic environment you grew up in. And this leads directly to the first principle. You need to develop a strong dislike for poverty. I am not saying you should hate poor people. I am saying you should hate the limitations that poverty creates. There is nothing noble about being unable to pay your bills. There is nothing beautiful about worrying every month whether you have enough money. There is nothing romantic about wanting to help your parents but being financially powerless. There is nothing glorious about watching an opportunity appear and having to say no because you cannot afford it. Poverty reduces choices. That is the real problem. When you do not have enough money, your decisions are often made for you. You stay in jobs you hate. You stay in places you do not want to live. You delay healthcare. You avoid opportunities. You cannot invest in yourself. You cannot take intelligent risks. You cannot help people the way you want to. So stop treating poverty like an identity. You are not a poor person. You are a person who currently has a financial problem, and problems can be solved. But first, stop playing the victim. Maybe your parents were poor. Maybe you were born in a small town. Maybe you did not receive the best education. Maybe you started with nothing. Maybe the economy is difficult. Maybe somebody betrayed you. Maybe you failed before. All of these things can be true, but repeating them will not increase your income. At some point, you need to ask yourself a more useful question. What am I going to do about it? Pain can become an excuse, or pain can become fuel. Choose fuel. Before you make more money, you need to change the way you process the world, because two people can see the same opportunity and react completely differently. One sees risk, the other sees possibility. One sees competition. The other sees proof that demand exists. One sees AI and thinks, this will replace me. The other thinks, how can I use this to become 10 times more productive? Your mind is a filter, and if the filter is weak, even good opportunities will look impossible. There is a powerful idea from the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. The way you see yourself affects the way you behave. Your self-image becomes a hidden operating system. If you believe you are stupid, you will hesitate before trying difficult things. If you believe you are bad with money, you will make financial decisions that reinforce that belief. If you believe business is only for special people, you will avoid opportunities. If you believe you are unlucky, every failure will become evidence. This is dangerous, because eventually, your identity becomes a prison. So change the language. Do not say, I am bad at sales. Say, I have not learned sales yet. Do not say, I cannot build a YouTube channel. Say, I do not know how to build one yet. Do not say, I am not good with technology. Say, I need more practice. That word yet matters. Because being young is not about already knowing everything. Being young is about having enough time to become dangerous at something. You can learn, you can practice, you can test, you can make mistakes, you can improve. In my own work, I always emphasize that skill comes from repetition. Research is a skill. Finding keywords is a skill. Analyzing competitors is a skill. Editing is a skill. Writing is a skill. Using AI effectively is a skill. Nobody becomes excellent by touching something twice. You become good by repeating it until what used to feel difficult becomes normal. That is how confidence is actually built. Not through positive quotes, through evidence. You keep promises to yourself. You practice. You improve. Then your identity changes naturally. This principle will save you years. Stop taking financial advice from people who have never built financial success. Stop taking business advice from people who have never built a business. Stop taking YouTube advice from people who have never successfully operated a YouTube channel. Stop letting people who are terrified of risk design your future. This does not mean those people are stupid. It does not mean they do not love you. Your parents may love you deeply. Your friends may genuinely care about you. Your coworkers may be good people. But love is not the same thing as competence. Someone can care about you and still give you terrible advice. Why? Because people advise you based on their own experience, their fears, their limits, their worldview. If somebody has spent 20 years believing entrepreneurship is dangerous, what do you think they will tell you? Don't do it. If someone has never made money online, what will they say? Online business is probably a scam. If someone tried something once, failed, and quit, they may tell you it cannot work. Be careful. I prefer to learn from people who are still in the game. People who are still executing, people who still test ideas, people who still manage businesses, people who still build channels, people who still make mistakes in the real market. Because theory becomes outdated. Reality updates every day. If you want a result, study people who already have evidence of that result. Then observe carefully. Do not worship them. Study them. Most people set goals that are too small. They ask, how can I earn another $200 per month? And their brain gives them $200 solutions. Maybe work a few more hours. Maybe sell something. Maybe take another small job. But what happens if you ask, how could I build something capable of earning $20,000 per month? Now your brain has a bigger problem. And bigger problems force bigger thinking. You begin asking different questions. What market could support that income? What skill is valuable enough? What kind of client could afford to pay me? How can I sell globally? How can I use technology? How can I use AI? How can I create systems? How can I build a team? How can I create something once and sell it many times? This is why I like replacing one question. Stop asking, can I do this? Start asking, how can I do this? Can I is a yes or no question. It often activates fear. How can I forces your brain to search. Do not misunderstand me. Thinking bigger does not mean acting recklessly. You do not need to borrow huge amounts of money. You do not need to pretend you are a billionaire. The principle is simple. Think big. Start small. Move fast. In my YouTube framework, I often use a similar idea. Think big. Go small. Start working. You can have a huge vision. But today, you still need to make the first video. Mindset alone is useless if it never becomes money-producing activity. At some point, you need to understand the real mechanism behind income, and that begins with value. The market does not care how tired you are. That may sound harsh, but it is true. The market does not automatically pay you more because you worked harder. It pays based on value. You can work 12 hours doing something almost anyone can do, and still earn very little. Another person can spend 2 hours solving an expensive problem and earn far more. Why? Because income is connected to value, demand, scarcity, leverage, and results. So stop asking only, how can I work harder? Start asking, how can I become more valuable? This is where high-value skills matter. Sales, copywriting, video editing, advertising, marketing, programming, AI automation, content creation, lead generation, design, closing, data analysis. Choose one skill that has real market demand. Then go deep. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two video editors. The first editor knows how to cut clips, add subtitles, add music, and export the file. The second editor knows all of that, but also understands hooks, storytelling, retention, pacing, viewer psychology, audience drop-off, thumbnails, and calls to action. Who gets paid more? Usually the second person, because the second editor is closer to the business result. This is also how I approach YouTube production. I do not look at a competitor's video and say, "Oh, that looks nice." I break it down. How does the video open? How many seconds is the hook? What emotion appears first? Is there music? Is it slow or fast? What happens in the body? How do they maintain attention? Where is the call to action? What does the thumbnail promise? What does the title promise? This is real skill. You stop seeing content like a viewer. You start seeing it like an operator. That is when your value increases. You do not want to spend 10 years becoming excellent at something the market is abandoning. You need to pay attention to where money is moving. Every era has major waves. The internet, social media, e-commerce, mobile apps, the creator economy, artificial intelligence. AI is especially important because it changes the economics of production. One person can now do work that used to require a team. Research, writing, translation, voice generation, image creation, video support, automation, customer support, coding, analysis. But understand this clearly. Knowing AI tools does not automatically make you rich. Nobody pays you because you know the names of 30 AI websites. People pay you because you use tools to create a valuable result. Can AI help you produce content faster? Can it help you research markets? Can it help you find products? Can it help you write advertisements? Can it help you build systems? Can it help you serve international customers? That is what matters. I also believe international markets create huge opportunities. Take YouTube. The process of making a local language video and a foreign language video may be very similar. You still need research, a script, audio, images, editing, a thumbnail, a title, an upload process. But different markets have different advertising values, different purchasing power, and different audience sizes. That means similar production effort can sometimes produce very different economics. This is why I often encourage creators to study international YouTube markets. You can live in one country and create content for viewers thousands of kilometers away. That was much harder 20 years ago. Today, AI makes the barrier even smaller. Language is becoming less of a limitation. Production is becoming faster. Research is becoming easier. The opportunity is there. The question is whether you are positioned to capture it. This principle destroys procrastination. Do not wait until you feel ready. You will never feel completely ready. There will always be another course, another book, another video, another tool, another strategy, another reason to delay. Some people spend months learning how to start. Then years later, they still have not started. That is not preparation. That is fear wearing a smart outfit. At some point, you need to execute. Publish the video, send the offer, call the client, launch the product, run the advertisement, build the channel. Your first attempt may fail. Good. Now you have real information. You learn things from execution that theory cannot teach. This is something I repeat often. Do not wait until you are perfect before you start. Start so you can become better. Your first video may be ugly. Your first script may be weak. Your first thumbnail may get no clicks. Your first business may fail. Your first client may reject you. Your first sales call may be embarrassing. But after 50 attempts, you are not the same person. That is the point. You are building yourself. Being ambitious is not enough. You also need financial oxygen. If you have no income, no savings, and no capital, then one of your first responsibilities is creating cash flow. Sometimes young people have too much ego. They say, "I want to become an entrepreneur." Great. How much are you earning? Nothing yet. Then make money. If you need capital, create capital. Do freelance work. Edit videos. Write scripts. Design thumbnails. Manage social media. Sell services. Do affiliate marketing. Help another creator. Take a part-time job. Do legal work that creates cash and builds useful skills. Do not be too proud to start small. If your long-term goal is YouTube, then editing videos for another YouTuber can be extremely valuable. You get paid. You learn production. You understand workflow. You see how channels are managed. You understand deadlines. You see what successful creators care about. That income can then be reinvested into your own project. Software, equipment, AI tools, advertising, education, people, testing. You need to understand something simple. Money helps create more money, not magically, but because capital gives you more options. So create cash flow. Then reinvest intelligently. Your first income does not need to look impressive. It needs to create momentum. Do not misunderstand this principle. You should not enjoy losing. You should enjoy learning quickly. Failure is feedback. In YouTube, this becomes very clear. You publish a video, it performs badly. What do? Cry? Blame the algorithm? Quit? No. You ask questions. Was the topic weak? Was the title weak? Was the thumbnail weak? Did people click but leave quickly? Was the opening boring? Was the pacing slow? Did you target the wrong audience? Was the keyword wrong? Was the demand too small? Was the idea already saturated? Then you test again. This is exactly why I believe YouTube must be approached through testing. You test topics, keywords, titles, thumbnails, formats, editing styles, hooks, audience segments, production systems. I use this principle in team management too. Different teams can test different methods. Then you compare results. The goal is not to prove that your idea was correct. The goal is to discover what actually works. That is a major difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs fall in love with their opinions. Professionals fall in love with data. If your strategy fails, good, now you know something. But do not repeat the same mistake forever. Fail fast, learn fast, adjust fast, then test again. Repeated failure without learning is not courage, it is stupidity. Intelligent failure makes you stronger. Now let us make all of this practical, because you can understand every principle in this video and still destroy your future through poor daily habits. I want you to use something simple, the power list. Every night before you sleep, write down exactly 5 important tasks for tomorrow. Not 20, 5. And these tasks should move your business, income, or skill forward. Do not fill the list with fake productivity, not check email, clean desk, change profile picture, organize folders, watch random videos. Those things may make you feel busy. But being busy and making progress are not the same thing. Your power list should contain actions like finish 1 YouTube video, analyze 10 competitors, send 30 proposals to potential clients, practice 1 high-value skill for 2 focused hours, contact 5 potential customers, create 3 new thumbnails, write 10 video ideas, test 1 new offer, finish 1 portfolio project. These tasks are uncomfortable. That is why they matter. Important work usually creates resistance. Do the important work first. And I also recommend writing things down. But do not try to write every sentence you hear. I prefer capturing key ideas, keywords, insights, strategies, things I can test, things I can use, because the purpose of learning is not to create beautiful notes. The purpose of learning is to change behavior. Now, I want you to do something after this video. Give yourself 30 minutes. Turn your phone off. No TikTok, no Instagram, no notifications, no messages, no distractions. Take a notebook and write 1 question at the top of the page. What is 1 huge financial goal I want to achieve? Do not immediately make the goal smaller because it feels uncomfortable. Write the real number. Then ask yourself, what skills do I need to achieve this? What type of person would I need to become? Who already has the result I want? What are they doing differently? What market should I enter? What skill can I start learning now? How can I earn my first dollar from that skill? And most importantly, what can I do in the next 24 hours? Not next year, not after you feel confident, not when the economy improves, not when your parents understand, not when you buy a new computer. Within the next 24 hours, maybe you need to publish your first video. Maybe you need to create your first portfolio. Maybe you need to contact your first client. Maybe you need to learn editing. Maybe you need to research an international YouTube niche. Maybe you need to finally stop watching and start producing. Whatever it is, do it, because being 20 gives you 1 huge advantage. You have time to fail. You can fail at 1 business and start another. You can learn one skill and later change direction. You can publish 100 bad videos and still have decades ahead of you. You can rebuild, you can adapt, you can restart, but do not confuse having time with having unlimited time. 5 years can disappear very quickly, and the older you become, the more responsibility you usually carry. Rent, family, children, debt, health, commitments. That does not mean success becomes impossible later. People rebuild their lives at 30, 40, 50, 60, and beyond. But if you are young now, use the advantage. Do not waste it. I have always believed that the journey itself matters. Success and failure are destinations. But the process of becoming stronger, smarter, more capable, more disciplined, and more useful is where the real transformation happens. So do not wait until you have the perfect house, the perfect car, the perfect bank balance, the perfect business. Your life is happening right now. Your 20s are happening right now. Use them. And remember the 9 principles. Detest poverty. Rebuild your self-image. Ignore advice from people who do not have the results you want. Think 10 times bigger. Create more value. Position yourself where money is moving. Start before you are ready. Create cash flow immediately. And learn to fail fast. Then, every day, complete your power list. 5 important actions. Again, and again, and again. You do not need to become rich tomorrow. You need to become the kind of person who knows how to create wealth. That person has skills. That person understands value. That person takes action. That person studies reality. That person does not collapse after failure. That person knows how to adapt. That person can start again. Become that person. Because 5 years from now, you will look back at this period of your life in one of 2 ways. You will say, "That was when I finally started." Or you will say, "I wish I had started then." The 5 years will pass either way. So stop waiting. Stop hiding behind preparation. Stop asking for permission. Stop building your future around the fears of people who never lived the life you want. Think bigger. Start smaller. Move faster. Learn. Execute. Measure. Adjust. Repeat. And if your first attempt fails, make a second one. If the second fails, learn faster. By the 10th attempt, you will know more. By the 50th, you will be a different person. By the 100th, the people who called you lucky will never understand how much work happened before the result. Your 20s do not need to be perfect. They need to be useful. Build yourself. Build skills. Build cash flow. Build assets. Build courage. And one day, the money will become evidence of the person you spent years becoming.